Shenoy, the Director of Relationship Intelligence at Allo, a dating app created for the intelligent dater. Today, love and relationship expert Susan Winter is back with us to help us tackle yet another dater's dilemma. Susan, how are you?
Hi, Seline. Great to talk to you again. I'm so excited to be on your show. I love this show. Thank you. Thanks for having me come back.
Yeah, it's so good to have you back with us at Allo. Thanks for being here. So, in this episode, you're going to help us tackle a question that a lot of singles keep asking themselves, and that is, am I being too picky? But before we get into that, let's clarify the term picky.
Okay.
What does that word mean to you? And is it different from, say, being selective or having standards?
It is, and that's a great point. When we tend to say picky, it kind of means like nitpicky, like infinitesimal little, like, this, I don't like this. I ordered it medium rare. I think it's medium rare. So it tends to have a negative connotation, or it seems to be an extreme reaction to something that's kind of not a big deal. Okay, so you've drawn a beautiful parallel. Oftentimes we'll simply use the word picky as, just a shorthand for I'm selective. So it's not exactly the same. Should we be selective? Yes. Do we need to filter? Absolutely. If you filter in the beginning by knowing what you want and being clear in stating what you want and representing who you are and what you want to create accurately, you have a far greater ability to draw in the right person that's actually a match for you, rather than being I love walks on the beach and I like sunshine and, a one size fits all. Then you get to the bottom of it, you hate each other's political views, one wants a relationship, one doesn't. So I think it's okay to set standards, but this being picky, it can be a bit too much. It might not be realistic. And then that is something that requires discernment.
Yeah, that's a good point. Can you give us an example of what that could look like?
Well, we have to know what we bring to the table. And I mean, shoot for the stars, but be realistic, okay? Brad Pitt's not going to come in my door and say, Susan, I'm leaving all these girls in Hollywood for you. I know you're a little bit outside my age group, but I'm obsessed with you. It's probably not going to happen. So that is, you have to take a realistic look at yourself and what you want and imagine the best possible version. But if somebody arrives and they don't have one of those things on their list, like let's say you've been dating guys, divorced guys that have 3 kids, and you had oh God, here comes one more guy, 3 kids, divorced, antagonistic relationship with his ex. I've been down this road, I don't want it. And you say no. And then the next guy shows up and he's your match. The kids are not a problem. The ex is not a problem. He's not a problem. So if you make hard and fast rules, sometimes be sure you will break them. The mind will hear what you're going to say. Oftentimes people go, I don't want anybody with kids. Don't you know? We're getting married. Well, he's got a daughter. So it's like, okay, it happens. So be precise about what you want, but also be realistic on your value. You have to know how the world works. You have to get somebody that is within your range of possibility. Otherwise, you're living in a world of fantasy. Would we all, I had a friend who said off the top of her head, she was preparing for an on-camera interview for her company going public, and she's like, oh, anybody can marry a billionaire. And I'm like, no, not everybody can marry a billionaire. You can marry a billionaire. Look at you. You got a company, you're all of 28. I mean, you're like incredible and you're gorgeous. Like, not every woman can marry a billionaire. Okay, so don't even say that. They're going to hate you right off the bat. So part of it is realistic. Part of it is knowing yourself, knowing your values. You don't compromise on your values. You don't compromise on the quality of relationship you want. But you have to think realistically. Your perfect love may come in a package that you were too fussy, too finicky about. Like, I don't want to drive a Toyota. I really want it to be a Lexus. I want it to be, yeah. So, you got to take the whole picture, right?
So it seems like you have to be honest with yourself
Yeah.
before you really get out there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's huge. That's huge. And it's so interesting that you're talking about being picky because this is funny how life works. Just this week, I worked with a woman who started by saying, you know, I think I'm too picky. And then I thought, we're going to be talking about this. This is incredible. And she wasn't too picky. So here's how she used the term. I want to bring this up because some people say they're too picky, and what they really mean to say is there are very few people that I find myself attracted to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's a different thing. So that was her idea, like, okay, visually, chemistry-wise, I don't meet those people every day. So I started really questioning her about her life.
Mm-hmm.
First, she's a grad student, like who has time. Then she has a startup, like who's got time. And her only access, or never online dating, so her only access to people was in her social group, the people that she knew. If they had an attractive fellow that happened to be in resonance with her and they got along, she's like, oh, okay, maybe I'll do this. But it was always unintentional. Mm-hmm. So she did not intentionally set what she wanted. She was not specific about it. And she found random people with very little purposefulness in her search. So she came away because of limited possibilities, very few men that she met, and a limited environment, came away thinking that she was picky.
Right, so the circumstances.
Yes, exactly. So sometimes people think they're picky, and they'll say there are very few people that I'm attracted to. I feel the same way too, but it also depends on how many people you meet. Right. If you only meet 5 or 10 people or 20 people, or you live in an environment where there aren't a lot of people, and you don't want any of them, you're going to think you're too picky. But if you were in a place where you could meet 500 people, you might go, oh, that one, and that one, because now it's a matter of odds, right?
Right.
So we hope to increase our odds. We hope to narrow our focus and simultaneously increase our odds, right?
Yeah, and this is a good segue to my next question. Does being picky increase or decrease your chances of finding the right person?
It can do both. It depends on, again, your definition of picky. Right. Are you excluding people because you think you deserve more, but you've got a fantasy of some Hollywood lifestyle that doesn't fit your reality? Are you hoping to capture the brass ring? That might be great. Maybe, why do you want a relationship? Don't be so picky so that you exclude potential partners. Meaning, what if there's somebody that really loves you, you find them physically agreeable, they have economic security, you like them, you get along well, you're attracted to them, but you really wanted them to have a PhD and you were really hoping they drove a Maybach and you really wanted them to be head to toes Valentino. Yeah, it's like, haven't you just like, so exactly. So know why you want the relationship, and that should define more of your pickiness. When you really know, I want a loving, committed partnership, then you're picky about qualities, not stuff. You're picky about, somebody that's on the same wavelength and our values are similar. You see? So that's different. Don't be picky to the point that you exclude possibilities.
Okay, I really like that. So what I'm gathering from what you're saying is that, first of all, you gotta have a realistic idea about where you stand in the pecking order, because there is a pecking order, right?
Yeah.
So are you saying that some people can be pickier than others? I know this is a bit controversial, but I mean.
Oh, I've heard people who tell me what they want. Coaches.
No one wants to hear this.
No, coaches should never reveal these things, but I gotta tell you because it's so perfect. The first ever paying client I ever had stormed out of my house.
What? Oh my
stormed out of my house because here's what she told me she wanted. I want a guy who's charismatic, has a big life, because she had none. I want a guy with a great sense of humor. She was a bookworm. I want a guy with tons of money. She didn't want to work. I want a guy who's gone to an Ivy League. She didn't. Everything she wanted, I sat and I listened to her list, and it was and it was like the brass ring of every single aspect, social, financial, education, looks, you name it. And what was she bringing to the table? She was asking the man to import every aspect of herself that she had not worked on, to create the ability to, you might capture it, or go and put as many pictures as you want in your refrigerator of the castle. But if you don't have the right mentality to hold it and to be a match for it, it won't happen. I'm not saying that you can't have that, but you've got to have the right stuff inside. You can't ask a person to import the life you didn't work for, try to achieve, or elevate yourself to get. So that's why, for example, so many young actors, they get thrown into the thing and they're like, oh, I had a star and I was a hit on a show, but they weren't prepared for it. And it's we have to grow into our desires. We can't pick a desire so big that, we can't fill it. We've got to own it. And she hadn't done that work. And I explained to her, and I said simply, I have to tell you, I feel so badly. I mean, go put pictures on your refrigerator. That's how you're going to get what you want. But you're asking for a man to bring you everything you have not brought yourself. And that's an impossible task. And if you get this guy, I promise you, because you could, and if you get him, I don't think you guys will be able to stay together. So she packed up her things and walked out. I said, take your money. If I haven't served you, just take your money. Because I realized I told her the truth. I didn't want to lie to her.
Right.
But that's when I realized that sometimes people have an unrealistic perspective of what they want, because you also have to be the vibe to attract, and not just attract, but maintain it. So you have to have that within yourself, right?
Yeah, I think that's a very honorable and ethical thing that you did by telling her the truth. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to hear that. I mean, it almost seems like some people think that they can order like a customized partner, like, like they go on Amazon and be like, oh, I want this.
Yeah, and dream big. But again, we have to work to be able to be that person that they would recognize. And, I'm not going to, like I used to say, it's not going to be the pizza delivery guy. You can't just sit on your couch and never go out and never go on a dating app and expect love to happen. I mean, it might be the pizza delivery guy, but it does involve some work. So if we're looking for somebody dynamic, some part of us has to be kind of dynamic too. Maybe it's our warmth. Maybe it's our caring. Maybe it doesn't have to be tit for tat. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I want a billionaire, so I've got to be a billionaire. But maybe you have to have purpose. Maybe you have to have ethics that they respect, like you work hard and you have a passion. So this is where we have to be a match for what we ask. And oftentimes I see people getting too picky because what they're asking for is not something that they can sustain within themselves, even if they got it, right?
Right. Great, Susan. That really is some wisdom that we could all use. So, could you give us some tips on how we can take a more balanced approach when it comes to choosing someone who would be right for us?
Start with the qualities first.
Yeah.
You have to start with the qualities. And if you start with the qualities, understand, I promise you, all of you listening, I'm never going to tell you to date somebody, kiss somebody, or be physical with somebody that is repulsive. Never going to happen. Never, ever, ever, and I'm not
advocating about that.
Right? So start with the qualities you want, and then let your internal computer zone in on that. It's like a homing device, and it locks onto it. And if, for example, you say, I want a partner, I want her to have a great ethical, responsible characteristic. I want her to be somebody I can love and trust. I definitely need this in her. Or I want him to be somebody where I can lean back. I need a man that honors me and respects me. I need somebody kind. I need somebody thoughtful. You put those as your must-haves. That's where you get picky. And that's where you watch everything, like how they treat the waiter, how they treat, somebody of a lesser status. And I'm not saying waiters are of a lesser status, but anybody of a lesser, how do they treat people around them? The Uber driver, the people on the street, whatever. And are they consistently nice? Look for a person who's inherently good. And you're 3/4 of the way there, right?
I totally agree. What about all the external stuff? I mean, is that something that...
It is, and it gets more important as you get older. I'm not going to lie to you guys, and I'm not going to make it like, oh, just go for the qualities you want. But sometimes lifestyle is important.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're in a position where you need some backup and it's going to take two incomes and you can't afford, you want a dream and you want to co-create with your partner, and your goal for a relationship, again, your wants, why do I want a relationship, is I want a home and I want to have a family and I want to have a good life for both of us. I can't be marrying a woman who's in chronic debt. She's beautiful, she's sweet, but this isn't going to be a match for my dream. I can't be with a guy that I have to do that I'm going to be the breadwinner the whole way out. And he's kind of got a tendency to be petulant and moody. That's not going to be a good match.
Oh, that's not good.
So lifestyle is important. Remember, at the end of being in bed for the first 3 months, then you got to live with them. Then you have to see what the relationship's like. Then it's going to be, can we get through conflict resolution? Do we have a life that's compatible? Do we enjoy being together? Is this my best friend? Do we have commonality? Can we respect each other? Yeah, so that's important, right?
Yes. Oh, Susan, that's wonderful. You made a complex subject so much easier to understand. Thank you so much for doing that for all of us.
Yeah.
So our followers are familiar with you because because we've done an interview before. But for those who are new, could you please share your information with them?
Oh, would love to. SusanWinter.net. That's my website. You can find out how to work with me. I work with coaching individual sessions, 45-minute sessions, or by the minute on an app called Magnify. I love them. These people are from Canada. They kind of created, I said to them, I would love to bill by the minute. Sometimes people have quick questions. And they've been working on this app, and it's just fabulous. And the first 2 years, I tripled my income each year. And I have to be honest, the third year I didn't triple it. I would be like extraordinary now, but it almost doubled it. So they've been a very good addition that I can catch calls as I can. And so also feel free to check out my YouTube channel. And I do a live video every Thursday. I did one right before I recorded with you today, so it's a lot of fun. And I can chat with my audience. Love it.
Wonderful. Great. Susan, thank you so much again, and I hope you have a lovely day out there in Arizona.
Thank you, Seline. Soon I'll be back in New York. It'll be my first monsoon I'm experiencing today. I'm excited. I've never seen Arizona in the summertime, so
okay. You get quite hot out there, so.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh yeah, this is where everybody leaves. Seline, thank you so much. And again, a big shout out to Say Allo. You guys are an awesome, awesome app. I tell my clients to follow and to use you and stuff like that because we need ways to get together. We need ways to meet each other so that we can be specific on what we want, not picky, right? And we need a broad selection.
Absolutely. Thank you. We so appreciate that.
Thank you.
So for more dating and relationship advice, please visit us at justsayallo.com. Bye for now.